Hello folks, it's Friday. It's one of those lovely days where we get to sit back, do some hobby nightmares, and just relax a little bit. We're at the weekend now. Congratulations to you, you're at the end of the week, and if you are working over the weekend, then thank you for helping the world go round. You really do help us out by making sure you're at work over the weekend, so you don't have to be. If you like what I do, the subscribe button is down below, the Patreon button is also down below. If you want to be involved in the prize draw, that's this Sunday on the 8th of October. It will be up and ready to go around 3 o'clock, I should think. We're going to be doing a live prize draw for £100 worth of free stuff from Composite Games. It can be models from Games Workshop, it can be D&D stuff, it can be Magic the Gathering, whatever you need. It's all there at Composite Games, and they've quite kindly provided a £100 prize for you to take advantage of. That will be there on Sunday for you to win if you are part of either of those two things. Today, I have sent off the last of the prizes, so they should be winging their way to people out there in the big wide world right now. So we are up to date if you've given me your prize requests anyway. So one or two of you haven't, so you need to get on that. Anyway, moving on. Let's do some hobby nightmares, shall we? Oh, the prize draw, you've got to be involved. Yeah, I should tell you how to get onto the prize draw, shouldn't I? You should be on the Patreon at any level, or you should be a member of the channel. Either of those two things lets you basically be a part of the prize draw. You get one entry for every single time you are a part of either of those two things. So if you're a patron, you get one entry, and if you're a member of the channel, you also get one entry. If you're a member of both, then you get 2 entries, so 2 chances to win. Awesome stuff. Moving on, hobby nightmares time. The first one comes from Tom. Alrighty, and this is a bit of a long one, so I've got myself a nice cup of tea. A lot of people say, like, how much context do you want? And I'm like, well, if your story is engaging, as much context as you want, no problem. You know, it's only if there's loads of context and the story doesn't go anywhere. But this one does, so I'm very, very happy to read it out. So, Tom says, "Hey man, greetings from California. Hope you're doing well. Sorry for the redundant emails, but I'm not sure which email to send a hobby nightmare to, so I just sent it to both. No worries, man, no worries. For the sake of anonymity in this story, just call me Tom. Already have done. All these years playing Total War Warhammer finally got me motivated to play and head to my local Games Workshop store to dip my feet into the hobby. For some quick background info about me, I'm pretty new to Warhammer. I'm a 29-year-old USMC veteran, running my own business and taking IT classes, with a Japanese wife and 3 kids. Yes, I was stationed in Japan, and did the typical Marine thing of marrying a local girl there. But hey, my dating options were limited. I could choose a butch lesbian Wookiee, female Marine. Oh no. An okay looking female who dates other dudes in the barracks, and a good chance of getting the latter. Oh, and a good chance of getting a sexual harassment charge thrown at you if you piss her off, or a local girl. So I opted for the latter. Anyways, in January this year, I started off getting into Age of Sigmar and buying Disciples of Tzeentch as a Vanguard box. Eventually, I even got a Slaves to Darkness starter set and some second-hand models. When 10th came out, I bought the Cadia Stands box and some more second-hand models, so I could get myself started with the Imperial Guard. Here are a few pics of my models if you want to see them. You don't need to show them, my painting isn't great or anything. For the Guard, I'm painting them in Desert Storm type, and for my Tzeentch guys, just a normal Tzeentchian blue, pink, purple colour scheme. Cool, let me have a little look here, see if you got any... Oh, these are pretty cool. I like these. There we go. Guard first. Wow, that zoomed in. Whoa. Very nice stuff. And for someone who's just started, man, those are really good. Make sure you do black around your bases, though, to differentiate where your base starts and ends. Make sure you do that. But that's really good. Inks would be a good thing as well. So any Seraphim Sepia or anything like that over that would... Maybe some Seraphim Sepia mixed with some Norn oil and some water would really make those pop and stand out. don't know what it is. New people seem to be allergic to the one thing that makes your models look 10 times better than what they do. These are how my models would look before an ink, you know. And then after an ink, I'd dry brush them and be like, wow, that's really... Or I'd ink them down and then edge highlight them and be like, wow, that looks really cool. That really pops. But so far, so good, man. You're a good painter. You're a very good painter for someone who's just started. If somebody picked up a brush at my local games workshop and I was teaching them and did this, I'd be like, wow, that's a bright future ahead in the hobby. Let's have a look at the Zinch guy. Again, wow, you like your zoom. You are a military man, aren't you? Yeah, like this. You've done the base correctly here, so I can see where the base is starts and ends. I would do a brown base, or a base that matches the terrain that you're on, rather than the, you know, the base for me should be either black or it should match the base, the terrain that you're playing on. Weirdly, you know, that's just me though. But it looks really, really good. I like it. And again, for someone who's just starting out, this is really, really good stuff. So I'll leave the guard up for the rest of your story. There you go. Excellent. So, anyways, my hobby nightmare is about how my local gaming store ripped me off. They took my money, never ordered my product, and never gave me a refund. With your experience running a store with Games Workshop and a local shop, maybe you can shed some light on this too. Sit back, relax, and enjoy your tea. Here's the story. Okay. This is one of the main things I always get stressed about with the prize draw. Always. This is why I badger you. If you've won the prize draw and you wonder why I'm always like, dude, what do you want? Dude, what do you want? And, you know, I don't give up until I've emailed like 3 or 4 times and I don't get a reply. Because I'm just terrified someone's going to go, you didn't give me my prize. It's like, well, I've emailed you 4 or 5 times. What do you want me to do? Like, reply to me and tell me what you want. I can't just send you random models. Not happened yet, but I'm just terrified. That's why I'm always trying to be ahead of the game with it. But anyway. Story context. I guess I'll start with laying down some background context of myself, my local community, and the game store. If this is too much info, feel free to skip ahead if need be. Thank you very much. Thank you, cheers. If it does turn out to be, it's getting a bit too much, then I will skip ahead, but we'll see. With being a new Warhammer hobbyist and all, I was searching for new stores and groups to play and hang out with. In the beginning, I started with the Games Workshop store since it was the closest. I would go in there maybe once or twice a week to paint and try to get a game in. The store didn't have any kind of Facebook besides the official store Facebook, or Discord for players to schedule games and with each other. So, I had to find games the old-fashioned way, which kind of sucked because a lot of people never really went there to game, just to shop or paint and hang out for a bit. The store manager is an awesome guy, but he doesn't really do much to foster games there. Just a quick crusade or path to glory once or twice a year, with little to no involvement from him at all. Okay. Eventually, I saw a gaming store when I was on my way to do a job, so I figured I'd stop in to check it out once I had some time to kill. The store itself was great. I had a little bit of everything from all types of hobbyists. They had mats and terrains for Warhammer, tables to play games on, a dedicated D&D room, Magic the Gathering cards to sell, Star Wars products, and you could order any product you wanted to the store for free shipping. Ooh, nice. They would host D&D sessions, Friday night Magic the Gathering, and Warhammer tournaments. When I first checked it out, the store owner, we can call him Bob, gave me a Discord link to join the server they made for the local community and the store. This was awesome, because now I have a much easier way to find games instead of just sitting around the Games Workshop store for hours waiting for someone to walk in. With being new to this hobby and wanting to help out where I can, I would always try to buy something from the local game stores, whether it be models, a book, or one little pot of paint. I just wanted to buy something to show my support and my thanks. Also, with me owning and running my own business, I had that sentiment of wanting to support the mom and pop shops in my local area because I am one of those businesses too. I started to go to this local shop most of the time for games to even buy something small whenever I passed by. I would basically only go to the Games Workshop store if I needed something quick because it was close to me, or to hang out for a bit on days when I had some extra free time. Soon, I joined in on a little Age of Sigmar tournament at this local game store during the summer. It was great. I lost with a perfect 0-3 record, but that was okay because it was my first tournament and a fun experience. Bob even had prizes for first, second and third place. Prizes for the best painted army, and even the wooden spoon was awarded. For the short time of me being in this new community, I was having a blast meeting people for games, making new friends and joining events like this. One day, I decided to make a pre-order from the store. I never made a pre-order or did anything like that from the store since I mostly just bought what was on the shelves. I pre-ordered the new Nurgle Regiment of Renown and the Dawnbringer book that just came out for the Age of Sigmar at the time. I called the store to make my order. Later in the week, I stopped by for a game and to pay for it. Bob told me the items were ordered and that I should expect to see them in the store in about 2 weeks. So, here's where the problems begin. A week and a half goes by and something terrible happens. The store, out of the blue, closes down. It was a shock to everybody in our community because there was never a hint given to us that the store was struggling or about to be closed down. I thought it was weird how suddenly Bob's store shut down because usually, for most stores, there'd be some kind of announcement a week or two in advance so the customers would know. Or at the very least, the owner would be able to see the writing on the wall and make some kind of preparation for it. The day Bob announced the store was closed was the same day everything got packed up and moved out of his shop. If people still had their armies, mats, terrain or anything left at the shop, you had to come by that day to grab it from Bob later down the line. On that day, I had a job near the shop, so when I finished working I came by to check it out and see if what I ordered was in there waiting for me. It wasn't. The whole place was already cleared out. I was told by some people who were there packing the place up to contact one of the now ex-staff members, we can call her Susie, to see what was going on with the products I ordered. It was a little inconvenient to deal with a random employee instead of Bob, who is the business owner and the one who actually took my order, but whatever. Susie made an announcement on Discord that Bob wanted some space from everybody for a week or two, given that his store had just shut down. Wow, if you want space, this seems like it's a really, really sudden thing. So I figured, fair enough, the guy's probably depressed as shit, so I can understand he doesn't want to deal with people right now. It's a bit selfish given that he's the business owner and doesn't want to deal with his mess, but I get it. And if someone thinks I'm being too harsh with this sentiment, then they need a harsh relook at reality. Dealing with a failed business sucks, but it's no reason to abandon it and run away for a week. There are worse things in life than your business going under. I messaged Bob the day he announced his store shut down to give my condolences, and I offered to help any way I could if he needed it. I was actually going to borrow his Tau for an upcoming noob tournament that was going to be held there, specifically aimed at new players of 40k. So, we already had some communication going on in our DMs talking about that event. A few people actually offered to lend their armies out to the community just for this tournament for any players who didn't have enough points in their given army yet, which is just an awesome thing to see in the Warhammer community. But this is where the shit show really begins. Weeks go by. Maybe once or twice a week I get updates on what is going on with the stuff I ordered. First, Susie needed to double check in the order and the payment was in the system. So that took about a week to figure out. I already knew that they should have the information because the card I used to pay for it was already charged 180 bucks, and I could see it on my bank statement, which clearly had their store name on it. Then it became a waiting game of another couple of weeks for Susie to contact Games Workshop to see where my order is at and if she could get a tracking number. Because of the store being closed, I was worried that the product would already be in transit, being shipped to the store, and either being left there to be stolen or sent back because the delivery person would have nowhere to drop off the package. I'm going to say this to you, man. I'm going to say this. The store closing is an anomaly, right? That's an anomaly. But Games Workshop doing this with people's orders is not an anomaly. Okay? People who run their own stores will tell you they are a nightmare to deal with. They misplace things. They get orders wrong. They send orders to the wrong addresses. They do it all the time. All the time. you know, or you'll order something from your store, you know, from your independent store, and Games Workshop will say, we don't have it in stock right now, but when it is, we'll send it, and then 6 months go by. It's just normal for Games Workshop, I'm afraid. Unless you order directly from Games Workshop, you are shit out of luck if they decide to fuck over your order. It's the one good thing about ordering from Games Workshop, is that you're guaranteed, almost guaranteed, to get the product you ordered if it's in stock, right? If you order from another brick and mortar retailer, you know, they will do their damnedest to get your model to you, and 90% of the time, you know, it's gonna happen without a hitch. The other 10% of the time, it will be Games Workshop's fault. I'm telling you now. Independent businesses have no reason or rhyme to screw you over. This smells like Games Workshop to me, 101. But we'll see. We'll see. Eventually, Susie told me that Games Workshop said they never received an order from Bob's store for the products I ordered. I'm thinking, this is stupid, how could they not have my order? But then I thought some more and it was obvious. Bob just simply never made the order in the first place. He took my money and never made the damn order. How could he not have remembered to make an order, I thought to myself. I called his store once to place the order, and he should have been reminded again when I went to the store to pay for it. Now, I'm not the first person this has happened to. Okay, alright. Again, maybe we're coming across something like this is a exception to the rule, but we'll see. I did meet another person in our hobby community who said they ordered some Star Wars minis from Bob's shop before. He also paid up front for them, waited a long time for no notice, and then never heard anything from Bob about his minis. I believe he kept checking up on it, asking Bob if they ever came in, only to hear the continuous response of, no, not yet. He got tired of waiting and just gave up on getting those minis, not even trying to get a refund for them, just absorbing the loss. Never do that, by the way. Always make sure you get your refund back from people. Susie told me that when they could, they would issue a refund for me. I asked them if they could issue the refund back to the card, or would they need to do it another way. Susie said it would have to be another way. That's not right. That's not right. That is not correct at all. If a business takes payment from a card, they can absolutely refund it to that card. There is no business I know of in retail, especially even with Games Workshop, we did it all the time. Like, there is no business that cannot do a refund there and then onto the card you paid it on. It's happened to me before when I was in Games Workshop. I'd go in and I could do a reverse transaction from my till to the person, right, to giving them money back. It's easily done on the till, and that was our till. And our tills were ancient as well, you know. Even if it's in cash, I could even do it in cash if you want it in cash. Anyway, so it would be like refunding me with cash in person or using some kind of Vimo or Cash App to send the refund. Now, this was another red flag. It is a red flag, man, but at least you're getting your money back. Don't do Vimo, but do get your cash and go put it in your bank. They couldn't process a refund on my card. Really? Lots of places can easily refund a purchase and do it directly to the card that you used. Even small businesses can do this. Yeah, they can't if they go bankrupt, dude. They can't. If they're declared bankrupt, they can't. They literally can't refund you on your card. Right? You may be able to chase it down through some sort of financial foundation or something, but the person who's declared bankrupt can't pay you. Literally. That's why they're bankrupt. Do you know what I mean? They've got no money. They've defaulted on everything, and they can't even have a fucking bank account for a while. Like, they're frozen out. They're in the wilderness. They're completely frozen out. And it is an option, by the way. If you declare bankruptcy, as long as you don't owe millions to people and stuff like that, you know, I know a mate, and his mum was in massive credit card debt, but for in the recession, just trying to keep the lights on, and they kept coming after her and hammering her with payments and this and that and the other, and eventually she just declared bankruptcy, and she took, I think it was like 5 years, she couldn't have a bank account, so it was a real pain in the arse for 5 years, but after that 5 years, she was free and clear. She had a clean slate, she had a clean everything, and it was just, okay, cool, and she went and built up her credit score and went from there. So it's doable, but at the same time, if he's declared bankruptcy, or all of his assets have been seized and stuff, which is why it's happened so quickly. If that's happened, he can't pay you. He has nothing to pay you with. So he would have to get cash from somewhere, or do a Venmo or Cash App or something like that to send you a refund, probably from his own savings. That's probably what he's doing. He's sending you a refund from his own savings. He's not sending you a refund from any sort of store-related financial thing, because all that's gone. It's gone, right? So that's why he wants to give you in cash or Venmo or a Cash App or whatever. Like PayPal or something. He wants to PayPal it to you. That's fine. That's because he's doing it out of his own savings. Now it's up to you whether you want to take that or not. Because you know this is a guy's savings and he's on the bones of his arse. But we'll see. Alright. Like I said earlier in the story, I run my own business, as well as I use Square to make credit card payments. By the way, Square is software that a business can use to manage their transactions and take payments, in case anyone was not aware. I can go into Square on my account, look at a transaction, and issue a refund if needed very easily. It takes less than 2 minutes to do so. Bob's store used a similar program like Square, so hearing that I couldn't get a refund on my card smelled like some bullshit to me. Again, if he's gone bankrupt, mate, and everything's been seized, he's got nothing to give you. Also, the fact that it took a week to even find the transaction in the first place is bullshit. It doesn't take days to find a week-old transaction, but whatever, I rolled with the punches. Susie told me that they would need time to recuperate funds from losing the game store, but would repay me when they could. I responded cordially and professionally back and said, "That's okay, whenever you guys can refund me, let me know." Good man. Good man. Because you realise that people have lost their jobs here, you know what I mean? Bob even made a post in the Discord saying that he is selling all of his stock and shop accessories like the mini fridge or tables at a discounted price so he can start making some money back. Even though this whole situation is frustrating, I'm not the type of person to be quick to anger or to kick a guy when he's down. I'm a pretty relaxed, mellow and understanding guy when it comes to situations like this. I'm able to put myself in another person's shoes to understand the situation. Plus, I don't want to start yelling and causing a fight for it just to ruin my reputation with the local community for being that dude who was shitting on some guy who just lost his store and livelihood. Well, that's good. That's good, man. That's good. Alright, here's the worst bit. Oh no. Twist the knife before you remove it. He's actually put this under another subheading. Twist the knife before you remove it. Oh no. Now, here's where the salt gets rubbed into the wound. Oh no. He's going to open another store, isn't he? Remember that 40k beginners tournament I mentioned earlier? Well, that tournament gets moved to another gaming store that was nice enough to host the event. This store wasn't really a wargaming store, more of a card Magic the Gathering type store. During the time I was dealing with the "where is my order" situation, I ended up getting some more Imperial Guard that I bought second hand for cheap, and was told I could borrow some of the additional units from another friendly player in the tournament so I could fill out the 1000 point requirement. Because of this, I didn't really need to borrow Bob's Tau army anymore. Plus, I wanted to use my newly acquired guard, and to be respectful towards Bob in case he didn't feel like lending out his army to some stranger right after his store shut down. Anyways, whilst at the tournament, Bob showed up just to hang out and watch the tournament. And guess what I saw him bring to the event? He brings with him 3 or 4 boxes of fucking brand new Imperial Knights, fresh out of the box, plastic wrapped and all, to build them whilst the tournament goes on. For context, this tournament took place before the recent data slate update that nerfed the Imperial Knights. Seeing this made me pissed. We all know how expensive this hobby can be, especially if you're buying Imperial Knights. He supposedly doesn't have the money to refund me, but has enough to drop $400 on Knights? Get the fuck out of here with that bullshit. Susie was also there to play in the tournament. For some reason, she must have thought I had some pissed off vibe because she asked if I was mad and made other comments alluding to that. Well, she was kinda right, but I wasn't expecting any kind of angry emotions during the event. I'm usually a bit of a quiet person, but once a conversation gets started, I can easily get carried away if I wanted to. But even though I wasn't foaming with rage, I did feel a bit awkward seeing Bob and Susie there. I actually have no ill will against Susie, she did nothing wrong, but maybe she was the mediator of trying to unfuck my shitty situation with Bob, that it felt like he was still guilty by association. She's not the one who decided to not order my Warhammer products after I paid for them, or decided to buy Imperial Knights instead of refunding a customer she had fucked over. But she was giving Bob cover by being the person dealing with all of his crap and making excuses for him or why he can't do X, Y, or Z things. After the tournament, Susie actually came up to me and tried to reaffirm that Bob is still working on my refund and that she is very sorry that this is taking so long. She even said, I'll make sure he starts listing his leftover stock on eBay so they sell faster. I appreciate the gesture, but you know what? Bob should be the one telling me this, not you. It's pathetic that she has to defend this guy. Just to clarify, Bob isn't dating Susie or anything. Susie's actually married, but Bob and Susie and a few others in the community are tight-knit friends, I'm guessing, because they have their own little inner circle. Anyways, to this day, I still have not gotten a refund for my purchase to their store. To put things in perspective, I wrote this story in the beginning of October, whilst the whole shenanigans and the shit show started in mid-July. And at this point, I'm kind of done trying to chase down this refund, because what can I really do? I can keep asking and I'll keep getting the same response of, not yet, and what else can I do? Do I go down the legal route and take it to small claims court? That would be kind of a joke and a waste of more money. Or do I just cause drama in the Discord and call him out, hoping the public shame will motivate him to give me my money back? That's not a good option either. That will just burn the bridge with my local community. The owner of the Discord, who isn't Bob, it's somebody else, actually banned someone from it because they kept bugging Bob about selling his stock for him for a cheap price. How pathetic is that? Bob couldn't just have blocked the guy. He had to get Daddy Discord owner to ban the guy for him. It's kind of ridiculous. Going through the situation and thinking about how this happened really shows how unprofessional and immature Bob is. Okay, fair enough. He was either too inept or immature to give customers a fair warning that his store might get shut down, or he knew it was going to happen and still made the scumbag move of taking everybody's money without any kind of heads up. Either way you cut it, the only possible reasoning seems to be stupidity or scumbaggery. It kind of sucks, because I don't want to be enemies or be enemies with or to hate this guy. He's actually a pretty cool dude, and he's fun to play some Warhammer with. And when his store was open, it was a great spot for people to meet in game, but like always, when money or business is involved with people and you get screwed over, even by a friend, it's hard to not feel some kind of hatred or dislike towards them. Alright, so, what do you think of this situation? How would you have handled it? Would you still talk with Bob or try to be his friend after this? If you saw him at a tournament with his new knights knowing he owes you money, would you chew his ass out in front of everybody? Also, is the problem I had and the refund process I dealt with common in your experience? You don't have to answer all of these, it's just something to provoke some conversation around the experience. Anyways, thank you for reading my Hobby Nightmare. Hopefully it's not too long or painful to read and that it brought some decent entertainment as well. Cheers. Okay, so, as I just said, if he's lost his business, he can't pay you from the business accounts, because the business accounts no longer exist. They've been seized, they're gone, right? If he's been made bankrupt, he's had to sell everything, it's all gone. If he's been declared bankrupt, right? If he's been declared bankrupt, you know, his debtors take everything, right? And you are also a debtor, but you are not considered what I would class as a how do I put it? By priority debtor. If this guy has credit card debts or he owes on the rent, that's where the money will go first. And if there's nothing left, there's nothing left. That's it. If there's nothing left once all those things are paid, or as paid as they can be, there's nothing left for you, there's nothing left for you, go screw yourself, right? You need to check out, there must be ways of checking out in the US how this guy has gotten to the point where he is, and then if he's actually, you know, how do I put it, if he's actually been declared bankrupt and have to sell everything up, that'll be a matter of public record, surely, in the US. I know it can be in the UK, so maybe look into it, see what's going on. In terms of what you did when you were at the tournament, I would have talked to the guy right then and there. This is what you're not doing right now. You're not talking to Bob. You're saying to me, like, oh, do I talk to him? Yes, you talk to him. Don't talk to this Suze person. Go and talk to Bob. Literally go to him in person. Wherever he is in person, go to him and say, listen, this is the situation we've got right now. You owe me $180. That's where we are. Or the models that I ordered. One of those two things. I don't care which. But make sure it's done, or I'm going to take legal action against you. Right? You need to threaten them with it. Even go to a lawyer, and if you know anybody that you know, go to a lawyer and say, listen, you know, I need a letter drafted to this person, just outlining this is going to happen if so and so, you know. And I know a lot of lawyers in the UK will do this for you for free because they want your business. I don't know about the US, but my mum's worked in law for a long time, so yeah, I know a lawyer will draft a letter for you to try and ed up some business, right? That kind of a thing. Yeah, normally they'll do that gratis. They'll just do that, you know, you know, what do you want it to say? What's the problem? What can I help you with? Okay, I'll draft a letter, and if anything that comes of this, you know, I then get paid because, you know, we're going to court. So that's how it kind of works over here, but I don't know how it works over there. So I would literally go to him and try and solve it yourself. Go over to him, talk to him, and listen. He's taken $180 of your money. That's not fucking cool. That's not cool. Okay? Fuck the Discord. Fuck the Discord. Go to the Discord and say, hey, this is what's going on. Alright? This is what's going on with Bob. He owes me this amount of money. I've tried to do this the nice way. It's 6 months now, and I've still not got my fucking models or my money back. Give me my money back, you piece of shit. There's nothing wrong with saying that, I'm sorry. And if they get rid of you, they get rid of you. But it's $180. This isn't chump change. Alright? It's 180 bucks, and if he's done it to you, I bet there's like a dozen people there who'll go, yeah, he owes me $30. He owes me 50, he owes me this. Right? And if they don't, it doesn't matter. It's still wrong, dude. It's still wrong. Like, he still owes you $180. Do anything that you can to get this money back. Don't let it slide. Right? Go to him in person if you can, privately if you can, right? Try and draft. There are multiple templates online on how to draft a legal document, okay? And say, listen, pay me or I'm suing you. Pay me or I will get that money back one way or the other. And knowing you, I can afford to go to court, you can't. So give me that money back, right? And if he still dodges you, then take it public. Then go to the Discord and say, hey, this guy hasn't fucking paid me yet. It's ridiculous. Because by the time you get there, it's 6 months down the line. In 6 months, I've not received a refund. This is silly. If you want to ban me, ban me. But everybody knows why I'm being banned. Right? It's there in the public eye now. Everybody knows why I'm being banned. Because I had the temerity to want my money back. Okay? And if they ban you after that, fine. That's when you either have two things to do. You either take it down the legal route, or you walk away. If you have to take it down the legal route, then do so. It's fine. But if you need to walk away at that stage, walk away. But at least you tried to get your money back, and you didn't let this guy... You ruined this guy's reputation, basically. You didn't let him get away with it. Right? Even if they ban you, there'll be a lot of people in that Discord going, well, they banned the guy for that. That wasn't cool. Right? So you're warning other people about shit like this. You made a good step by doing it on this show as well, so maybe even show them this if you want to. Anyway, moving on to the next hobby nightmare. Mechanica Steve says, hi North, hope all is well with you. I wanted to email to talk about my old manager at Games Workshop and why I just had to leave the company in the end. I got the job at Games Workshop mainly by telling them truthfully that I wanted to be a manager eventually, and that I, like you, wanted to end my career working for Games Workshop as I believed in the company that much. That's basically what I said as well. Somebody's watched the channel before. I think it struck a chord. So I got the job and became a blue shirt, a normal sales assistant, and started working in the store. My manager, James, was a decent bloke at the start. He even helped me settle in the local area when I moved for the job by giving me a few days off and only having me work 2 days, split apart in my first week. I really appreciated that, as it helped me get used to the store and the place and get acclimatized to the change in scenery. That's cool. That's cool. I was told by a few of the regulars that this manager was a bit of a piece of work and to watch my back. But to be honest, I take everyone at face value. You get with me what you give. So far, James, the manager, had been good to me, so I was determined to be good for the store and him. The first alarm bell came on the first day when I asked him if he wanted me to spread the word of the store to the folks in my own gaming groups. He responded with, and I quote, "If you want to advertise my business for free, then go right ahead." Close quote. All the while squinting his eyes and looking down his nose at me. Odd. That kind of sent a shiver up my spine a little, but I was determined to give working for Games Workshop a fair shot. What followed was what I can only describe as the worst 2 years of my working life. You see, I had a son. I couldn't just drop the job without having another one lined up and ready to go, and we were neck deep into a recession, so no jobs were available. At least not in my area or anywhere near my son. So I had to stick it out and, much worse, James knew he had me over a barrel as I couldn't afford to lose my job. Mate, there's nothing, and this is North now, there is nothing worse. There's nothing worse than a toxic boss who knows you've got nowhere else to go. That is a recipe, that is, Jesus Christ, all the parts of the nuclear bomb have come together. Do you know what I mean? Simultaneously to form the bomb and explode. That is the worst situation you can be in. Jesus. As I remember, when it came apparent I couldn't lose my job due to the situation the country was in, this is when James's attitude went from bad to simply abusive. Our other store body, Lucy, would never get anything like the shit I got from him. She got rude comments, apathy, and general disdain that she could live with. I got sheer malice and outright bullying. Let me put my money where my mouth is and go over a few anecdotes and incidents. So here we go. Okay, here's the juicy stuff. Let's get into it. Number 1. I've always numbered them. Alright. Number 1. I was made to be the cleaner of the store. No one else emptied the bins, dusted the store, or anything like that. It was all my job. And I was told so by James. Once, when a kid threw up on the floor next to the gaming table, James just sidestepped it and called, "Where is the bin man? Get over here, clean that up." Yes, he was talking to me, shouting at me over the store whilst I was speaking to a customer about the Tau Start collecting box. Wow. Wow. Right, my manager when I was at Games Workshop was bad, but he wasn't this bad. He wasn't this bad. Jesus. If my manager spoke to me this way, I'd have shoved that box straight up his fucking arse. I'd have lost my job. He never did anything like this. That's shitty, that. That's degrading shit, that. He never did it. He was unfair. My manager was unfair and would treat you with apathy and general disdain most of the time. But he wouldn't, like... He wasn't really self-aware. Do you know what I mean? He was just a douche. He was a non-self-aware douche. And, you know, and he loved his own power. But he never really outright, you know, bullied anybody. Do you know what I mean? He wasn't malicious about it. He was just an arsehole. But he wasn't malicious. This is malicious shit. This is horrible. Number 2. In the store, we had models to paint for the tables and the cabinet, which is a great part of the job. Yes, it is. I was painting some Iron Warriors for the new Horus Heresy box, by James's request, by the way, and was told my painting was substandard by James in front of customers. He took the paintbrush out of my hand aggressively and pointed to a training manual he had created for me to read from. "Go get better at something at least," he bemoaned. I wouldn't mind, but I've won painting competitions before, large ones, and the Iron Warriors I was painting were some of my best work so far, as I was determined to do them right if they're going in the cabinet. When James took over, his work was a single coat of paint, ink, done. He was even slower than me too, just doing those simple things. The regulars made jokes about the Iron Warriors in the cabinet looking great up front, in front of the window from the street, as those are mine, and terrible from the back ranks, which were James's. He put them in the cabinet, which is a subtle admission that he knows my painting's better than his, because mine are the ones facing the general public. Oh my god. Oh my god. But needless to say, because I was bad at painting, quote unquote, I was banned from doing any painting. Only James and Lucy were permitted to paint, and that really got to me on a deep level from then on in, whenever I saw them painting quietly whilst I cleared the store or handled customers. Wow, basically you're now running the store. Right? He's painting... I bet you Lucy's like a nice looking girl as well, right? So he's now painting with this nice looking nerd, and you get to run the store. Again, my manager was bad. He was never this bad. This is one of the worst I've ever read about. This is horrible. Number 3. The worst thing about James was that he was actually a great salesman. Like, really good. He could sell literally anything, but I always noticed he walked over to old people who had no clue what they were buying, and they were buying for their sons and daughters already when they had a list. One time, we were finally talking to him and about how difficult it is to actually steer people towards getting the starter box set at the time if they didn't already want it. Okay. That's true. So one of the key performance indicators or KPIs at Games Workshop used to be selling the starter box set. So in my time it was Dark Vengeance. But if the person coming into the store doesn't want Dark Angels or Chaos, you're shit out of luck. That person's not going to want Dark Vengeance, no matter how much you want to sell it to them, right? Which is why the KPIs were a load of bullshit. You know? Anyway. So one time, we were finally talking to him about how difficult it is to actually steer people towards getting the starter box set at the time if they didn't already want it. He responded by saying, "Ha, watch this," and walked up to a young couple and sold them a starter box set. Just like that. He then berated me in front of everybody in a very smarmy way, lauding it that it was so easy to get KPIs and that I was just bad at my fucking job. Forgetting, conveniently, that Lucy was also telling him the KPIs were absolute bullshit. A few days later, the same young couple came in to get some paint for their new starter box set, and they let slip that not only did they already know James and have done for years, but that they had told him they were coming into his store to start in the hobby together days ago at their weekly D&D game. They thought it was weird he treated them like normal customers he'd never met before. Yeah, all that deceit just to humiliate me and make a point in front of all the customers. Wow. My God. My God. Sorry, I had to take a moment there. My God. Dude. This sucks so much. Why are you still there? I guess because you have to be. Number 4. The final thing I wanted to say before all this blows up is that my grandmother died whilst I was working at Games Workshop. Now, my grandmother was a big part of my growing up process, and I owe a lot to her. Fair enough. Needless to say, I wanted to book some time off to head home and sort out her funeral with my mum and be there for the ceremony. James was having none of it. He told me taking a full 2 weeks off on such short notice was absolutely unacceptable, which, to be honest, is kind of fair. Okay, fair. So I told him I'd take a week off for the funeral and helping with that and would miss the rest. I would also give him 2 weeks notice for this week off, and we would actually push the funeral back by a week so I could be there. Again, he said no. What? He told me this was a retail business and that I should have thought about this kind of thing before signing on with the company. Is he fucking mental? What, I should have thought about the fact that my grandma might die whilst I'm here and I can't go to a funeral? Suck my balls. Suck my fucking hairy balls. Don't clip that. I know there's some of you who want to. Don't be clipping it. This was the last straw. I got together with Lucy and we put together a big dossier of our treatment and sent it in to Games Workshop HQ. I then called HQ, Lenton, Nottingham, on my day off and refused to go away until they took my call. I told them the situation with the funeral, and to say they were surprised was an understatement. I didn't know at the time, but I was actually talking to the head of retail for Games Workshop as a whole. They just put me through to him after a while, and he had gotten in touch with my line manager. The line manager for our entire area told me point blank to just take 2 weeks off, to not use my own holidays for it, the company classed it as bereavement leave on full pay, and to pack my bags and head home immediately. I did so, booking it in with HQ and allowing them to call James and tell him where to go fuck himself. When I got back, there was hell to pay. The treatment got much worse. Apparently Games Workshop HQ had given him an official verbal warning, the first of his many years there, and told him to treat us better or else. Dude, like that's cool. That's cool. Like I sent in a complaint letter to HQ. I did the customers in our store, but I never really called them. You know what I mean? I tried to play the game, and it blew up in my face. This is North talking. Like I tried to just get away from him and run my own store, which I did for a while. But then I met other people like him at HQ, who then again poisoned the well, and I ended up leaving. You know, that is a heavily abbreviated version of my time at Games Workshop. That's generally how it went. So yeah, I probably should have done it this way, but I didn't want to leave. That's the point. I wanted another job at Games Workshop, and blowing up your manager's reputation publicly isn't probably the best way to do that. Anyway, he didn't treat us better, needless to say. I handed in my notice to James as soon as I got a job working for a hobby store in my own town. Better pay and with people I really liked. I was still 24 years of age and figuring out my career after all. I sent in the same notice to Games Workshop HQ, but outlining my treatment and how it forced me to this decision. It was the most frosty 2 weeks notice I'd ever had anywhere, and on my final day, from James I got a "see you around then" from him as he was doing the banking for the night. No shake of the hand, nothing. I said, "Yeah, hopefully fucking not, mate, no offence," and walked out of the store for good. Good lad. Good lad. And don't look back either. I now run that second store that I went to. I love my job, and things in life are looking up. I want to know something cool? Games Workshop themselves sent me a sympathies letter about my grandma to my house, and sent me a card thanking me for my service, and an offer of a top reference to my new place of business. Some of them at HQ are absolute class acts, others not so much. I regret to this day I got a terrible manager rather than some of the cool ones that I know are out there. Thanks, Mech Steve. Yeah, that's true, man. And you know what? A lot of the cool people at Games Workshop tend to be the older ones. I don't know why. They tend to be the older ones, and especially the old ladies. The old ladies at Games Workshop, mwah, chef's kiss. Don't clip that either. Don't clip that either, please. But you know what I mean? Like, especially the payroll ladies. Oh my god, they're lovely. If you call payroll at Games Workshop, they will put you through to anybody. They don't give a fuck. You'll just go, "I've got this problem. I'm being bullied," or "I've got this problem with a customer," or "I've got this problem with an order." They will know exactly who to put you through to, and they will not stop until you are put through to them. If you call the department in question, you'll be on the phone for ages trying to get through to them. But if payroll is calling you, they'll pick the phone up, do you know what I mean? Because they know it's payroll. Go, "Oh, payroll." And I go, no, I've got a call here from Northern Exile, you know, and oh god, okay, right, put them through, you know, that kind of a thing. Yeah, so that's a hack for you. If you work for Games Workshop, if you work for GW, phone payroll. Phone payroll, ask for Janet. She'll put you through to whoever you want. Sorry, Janet, just doxed you. Anyway, I will be back on Sunday for our lovely prize draw. I love you all a long time. I'll see you then, and then I'll see you on Monday for some more Hobby Nightmares. Have a good one. Bye now.